Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Muslim Channel Uganda, powered by DBS. I am Dr. Iddi Ndiabawe. In this program, we make sense of books. Today's book is The Blessings of Ramadan, written by Allama Ilyas Attar al-Qadiri, Hafizahullahu Ta'ala. And specifically today, we are going to look at chapter dedicated for the blessings of Eid al-Fitr. This book was published in 2013 by Maktabatul Madina, the publishing house of Dawat Islami. Now, in the chapter of Eid al-Fitr, he starts this chapter with excellence of salawat ala nabi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. And he gives an anecdote that a beggar once came to some unbelievers and asked them for something, some help. These unbelievers sent the beggar to Sayyidina Mawla Ali, Karramallahu wajhahu al-kareem, aw radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, held the hand of this beggar in his hand and recited salawat ala nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam 10 times, and then he blew into this hand of the beggar. He told the beggar to close the hand and then go and open it in front of the unbelievers. What happened is that when he opened the hand in front, the hand was full of gold coins or dinars. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. That's the anecdote that the author opens with this chapter. Then he goes on to say, why do we celebrate Eid? He says, firstly, celebrating Eid is mustahab. It's preferable. It's a preferable act. And then he goes on and says that we should rejoice on Allah's blessings, that Allah has sent us. Because in the Quran, Surah Al-Yunus, verse 58, Allah Azza wa Jal says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قل بفضل الله وبرحمته فبذلك فليفرحوا. That say you only on Allah's grace and only on His mercy. On it therefore let them rejoice. Therefore, Ramadan is a sacred and blessed month. And so, after knowing that the Quran was revealed also in Ramadan, and Muslims have been tested in their faith for fasting a full month, so the Muslims who have passed this test in fasting the entire month, they should also be happy after having fasted that month. That's the logic he gives in why we should celebrate Eid al-Fitr. He then goes on and has a sub-theme that says announcement of forgiveness for everyone on this day of Eid al-Fitr. He quotes a hadith of Sayyidina Ibn Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, who says that the night of Eid al-Fitr is also called Laylatul Jaiza, the night of reward. And he says that the angels announce in the morning that Allah Azza wa Jal grants in abundance and He forgives the slaves on this morning of Eid. And also, the servants are told to ask whatever they want pertaining to the dunya, to the world, and pertaining to the akhirah, that's the hereafter. And also, the servants' mistakes are forgiven on that night. Another sub-theme in this chapter is that hearts remain alive. It means the spiritual heart, where faith lies, they remain alive. And then he quotes one hadith in that for those who worship on the night of Eid, their hearts will remain alive. And he quotes 5 nights. And those 5 nights, one of them is Eid al-Fitr itself, the other night is 15th Shaban, and the other 3 nights are the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th of Zulhajj. Those are the aspects he gave in that view. Then we come to another anecdote that he tells us, the author, that Satan screams and cries on the occasion of Eid. Satan regrets that Allah has forgiven the Muslims. And so he's very jealous about this. So he has an ambition to make Muslims to sin or to make a lot of sins on this day of Eid. And so Satan has tried to succeed in this mission. How? By making Muslims engage in dancing parties, and also some Muslims to wear clothes that have pictures on them and to pretend that they are coming to the prayer places with pictures on the clothes. That's some of the way in which he has tried to succeed. The author then goes on and opens the aspect of the purpose of life. And he says that we were created to worship Allah Azza wa Jal. And also, Allah Azza wa Jal is testing us to see who is the most obedient and the most sincere. And he quotes the verse in Surah Al-Mulk, verse 2. And then he goes and gives on and tells us about Eid being an Eid of warning also. Eid being an Eid of Wa'id. Wa'id meaning warning. Now, he asks a question, who doesn't deserve to celebrate Eid? He says, the one who doesn't deserve to celebrate Eid is the one who spent Ramadan in sins and the one who spent Ramadan disobeying Allah Azza wa Jal, and yet he is wearing new clothes on Eid. He is quite not logical. He gives an analogy that this person is like someone who is covering impurity or filth in a silver covering and then is putting it on display. He says that the one who deserves to celebrate Eid is the one who fasted and prayed and also avoided the sins. The author then says that wearing new clothes is not very conditionary to celebration of Eid. Meaning if you do not have new clothes, it doesn't mean you can't celebrate Eid. And gives an analogy of Sayyidina Umar ibn Abdul Aziz radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. This is about an anecdote of patience between the parents and the children. That the children shouldn't force the parents to buy clothes when the parents can't afford. We come to the Eid of Gawthul Azam. Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani, it's depicted in this book that he was very humble in the way he celebrated his Eid. He also quotes some Farsi poetry regarding this, and then he comes to show us the Eid of Sayyidina Sheikh Najibuddin Mutawakkil and Sayyidina Sheikh Fariduddin Ganja Shakar, how they were very humble and how they were frugal, and can I say how they were economical in how they were spending the money on the time of the Eid. They weren't spendthrifts. The author tells us that Sadaqah-e-Fitr, or what we call Zakatul Fitr, is wajib, and it's close to very compulsory. And Zakatul Fitr is a kafara, or an atonement for useless speech that you had uttered in Ramadan. And also the fasts remain suspended until Sadaqah-e-Fitr is paid. And also, the author tells us that the amount of Zakatul Fitr is 1.920 kilograms of wheat flour, and it's amount that you can buy it for. And then he tells us that the sunnah before Eid Salah is as follows, that before Eid al-Fitr, you can eat something before you go for Eid al-Fitr. But before going for Eid al-Adha, you go while you have not eaten anything. And then a reminder, he gives us a reminder of the method of Eid Salah in the Hanafi madhab. But also this is a reminder to us, for those in different madhabs, if you're Shafi, you can read the Shafi book relevant for the method of Eid Salah in the Shafi madhab. Also, this goes to other brothers in the different madhabs like the Maliki and the Hanbali. He gives 21 mustahabat acts, preferable acts of the Eid day as a summary to that chapter. Thank you very much. That has been the summary of the blessings of Eid al-Fitr from the book called The Blessings of Ramadan.